looking to expand the body shop way back about 2-3 years ago now, and wanted to pick Concord, to contribute to the community and everything. So we found this parcel of land and wanted to do it here. But after doing with all the drawings back to the landscape islands and everything, when we had it all drawn up, everything looked good on paper, and we approved everything. But then as time went on to get approved for the Concord Fire Department, we had us move the building 4 feet closer to the south, which moved the building over, which gave us a little bit less parking area and space. So then after the building was up and we went to do the driveway and the parking area and everything, it was just way too small, where we couldn't get tow trucks in and everything to make the swing. And even when we had to park cars and everything, they were real close to the building and to get cars by. And so that's why we're trying to get a variance to free up more space, so that'll be less hardship on us when getting cars in and out, especially come winter time when you have your snow plows coming in and piles and everything for people getting in and out of the cars. Well, everybody's known, like when you get out of the car, you're on a snow pile, you really can't get out. You have to let the person out first and then pull in. So it'll eliminate a lot of that for us. And then as we were doing it, we eliminated some parking area in the back of the building that really wouldn't have been useful, and it's about 600 or so square feet of more green space now, instead of parking area. And all the other landscaping will stay the same. If you see it, we have the drawings we submitted and everything. The trees and the bushes along in the front and all along down the side, and of course along the back by the part of the walking path, and everything else will be grass and everything else is staying as is.
Okay, maybe we can get do you have anything you can refer to in terms of kind of directing us exactly what you're talking about here? Because
this one.
Yeah.
Okay. For the what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those 4 trees, those are technically parking islands, and that's what I'm trying to eliminate.
Okay.
And then along the building right here is a 5-foot shrub landscape area.
Okay.
That I'm trying to eliminate.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at you. Would you say
sorry.
the 1, 2, 3, 4 were?
Oh, right here. These bigger trees right here. Those that have been in the parking islands.
Gotcha. So at what point did you decide, was it while you were putting the asphalt in, that you were just going to eliminate the islands?
Well, as we were doing the asphalt, we were talking with the asphalt company, and he noticed the islands were on the drawings, and he says it would be easier, it won't cost you any more money if it's easier to run the asphalt truck, in straight lines instead of going in and out.
Sure.
Have a better job, and then we could contend with it later. And that's when Heather brought to notice to me that the islands were in, and then that's kind of when we started discussing about hopefully maybe not putting them in. And that's how we are. We're stopped right now. We didn't do any landscaping or striping or anything like that.
So in progress, the asphalt truck, you guys just decided to abandon the islands. Did you just proceed with that, or did you call Heather to talk to her about it? Or?
No, he said we could put them in afterwards. It's easier to do it
afterwards.
And then that's when Heather brought to her, that's when we started to discuss about it. And so we stopped. They just did the one coat layer.
So if you can, for me, to be clear, in addition to the islands, you're going to take away 5 feet of this area?
No, the landscape that all will stay the same.
All stays the same.
The islands were in the parking area. Basically it's the same size as the parking spot.
Gotcha.
And then you were going to subsequently put in the 5-foot strip adjacent to the building as well?
I would like to lose that, is that what you mean?
Right.
Yes.
How many parking spaces did you have with the islands in place? How many parking spaces were there? Do you know?
17.
17.
Yeah. with two of them technically are handicap spaces.
So eliminating those, you'd have a total of 21.
Correct.
And the proposal is to keep one island towards Ravenna Road, but then eliminate the others in the back?
Yes, I agree with that, yeah. Because it's more towards the front, it's away from the doors and everything to make the swinging and everything.
And so the aesthetics of it, at least from the road, you still see the appearance of at least one island,
Yeah,
correct?
correct. You are correct.
And it's my understanding that what you're telling us, it's a hardship for not only the tow trucks and cars and vehicles to get in and out with the islands presently. If the islands are constructed, that's what's difficult, right?
Correct, yes.
And I'm gonna guess because you're a body repair shop, tow trucks are in and out of there all the time.
Yeah, it's just it'd be hard that when you drop them off, they'll have to put them in more or less the driveway, and we'll have to, if they're not drivable, we'll have to push them around instead of them, being in a spot or backing in and out of the garage doors. It just makes it a lot easier.
And we're lumping in flatbeds with tow trucks, so it's all forms of transportation of vehicles coming in and out of there, right? Okay. And how many employees do you have?
At the moment, 3.
Do you expect to add more?
Yes.
And right now, you're rather limited in parking, especially with those islands there. If you've got employees, I assume, is that 3 include
Yeah, as
yourself?
of right now, 3 of them are already taken up, correct.
And that doesn't include you?
No, that doesn't.
But you have visitors, insurance estimators, people like that come
Estimators,
there?
correct, come on the property, yeah, daily. Parts drivers, trucks, but they go around the side some at times to try and make it more convenient because of it being the way it is.
You built a very nice building. I mean,
Thank you.
I commend you on what you guys have done.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I'm going to assume that inside the building, it's not as if you've got a lot of space for storage. It's a lot of work area.
It's a lot, yeah, it's a lot of working area cars, when you have the doors open and everything, you need work, space to work around. But everybody's more than welcome to come by, and I'm more than happy to tour the place, kind of proud of it a little bit, so.
I think the community's proud of a nice looking spot and what otherwise may have been an eyesore in that area. So
Yeah, compared to this area.
pass back on.
But John, I think that eliminating those, as you say, the 4, makes a lot of sense. I mean, it just would really be, but it seemed like keeping that one strip along the building could still be worked. I don't see that as being as detrimental as these slots or, all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, just what we're looking at when we're actually on the property, it's 5 feet wide and along the whole building. It's still, when the tow trucks are making that swing, they're like, today, for instance, we were there picking up some equipment. The tow truck was up against the building, making a swing, and he was backing, and the car was dropping off into the parking spot, to make that swing. Is it doable? Yeah, but you got to do it a couple few times. It just makes it a whole lot easier, especially come winter time when there's gonna be a problem where to put the snow and everything. It backs everything up.
Okay.
So that's why I'm going for that. as well.
Thank you.
Mr. DeMichael,
Yes.
it is a wonderful building, wonderful looking building, and that asphalt, the asphalt section when you first pull in, that's a very wide, that's a chunk of asphalt. So, and you haven't put the parking lines in yet or
No.
anything, so that'll obviously cut it down. But I'm trying to, from a practical standpoint, I'm trying to understand, and I'll try and reference it from my copy of your schematic. When the tow trucks or the wreckers come in, they pull in from one direction or another, and then do they need to swing in?
If they would, sorry, when they're driving towards, towards the building.
Yeah, there's
and
two
then the tow truck would be perpendicular, straight with the
parallel to the building.
parallel, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so the tow truck, you're roughly 30 feet long.
Right.
And your cars are average 16 feet long.
Yeah,
So in the parking lot's 50 feet wide. It's 50 feet wide, so
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to do the math.
And you
There's
have-
not much turning radius.
and you have a total of 3 bays, 1, 2, and then 3.
The 2 bay door, the first one is an inspection bay. Those are cars that are mobile. driving through in and out. And then
Okay.
most of when the cars aren't drivable, it's the second door.
Okay. So the hardship would be that the islands would get in the way of the trucks doing what they need to do to drop the car off
Correct.
efficiently.
Correct.
What if there's parked cars there?
We have to move.
You got to move them, but you can't move an island.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That helps a lot. Thank you.
I can't imagine that the 5-foot strip along the building would interfere. I can't believe that a car or a truck would make the cut so tight that that would interfere with anything.
How do you want to say it? Not when the car's by itself, no. But when there's a car on the truck, like I said, the truck is 30 feet long, and then when the car is on the back, if you're seeing the tow trucks, the bed comes back to let the car off, and then you have a 16-foot car, and there's just not enough space to do that. If I'm being wrong.
So you added the 600 plus feet of parking lot deemed not usable and turned that into green space at the right rear of the building.
Correct.
Did that have something to do with one of the variances that was approved previously? No? Heather, you gave the history, the April 2019 variance. Screening around the septic area, is that have anything to do with the 600 feet? No?
I can speak to Mr. Chairman if you'd like.
I'm sorry?
I can answer that for you.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
No,
great.
I think, just to help Mr. DeMichael out, the 600 square feet of asphalt that he eliminated was in this back corner by the building here. They just didn't pave way over to here. It wasn't necessary. The variance that was granted previously allowed him to put his septic field in the rear, and one of the conditions was to do extra screening back here of the landscaping,
Okay.
which he's still going to do,
Okay.
which is shown on the landscape
Okay.
plan. Yeah.
I have to think, correct me if I'm wrong, that you might have been able to anticipate some of the issues that you're having, based on this original site plan. Did you not think you were going to have issues?
Well, I didn't realize we're having issues until we had to move the building 4 feet over for Concord Fire Department so they could drive a fire truck around.
Oh,
And that kind of put it, that happened whenever that happened, and it didn't click until the building was up and we were at, you can actually physically see what's going on. And at 4 feet, is a lot.
You had to move it to the south?
Yes. Yeah, so they can drive the fire truck around that. Obviously, they would, when they came to inspection, said that they probably will never do because it's too close to the building. So, and I had to add the driveway and everything on that side and spent roughly, $7,000-8,000 extra for that may never get used.
That would have been a good element in your letter.
Well, I just don't like to throw anybody under the bus.
Well, no, you're not throwing anybody under the bus except the township resolution by saying that the islands are redundant and they serve little purpose. So, I mean, we have a resolution for reasons. I can completely, that is a hardship that you had to move it 4 feet, so that makes everything tighter, for sure.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Gentlemen? All right. If not, we'll go ahead and close the public. Anyone else to testify today? Okay.
Sure, we're gonna have to see if there's anyone on the phone that wants to
Yes.
speak.
Is there anyone on the phone who would like to participate?
Yes, I would.
Could you please state your name and your address?
Okay, my name is Don Rizzo. The address is 7486 Jumpers Crossing Lane. And our property, the rear of our property faces building, I mean, dead square on. We have watched every piece of that building being built from the time the land was cleared. So I'm very, very familiar with it. And what we ended up with, initially, when the presentation was made, before it was approved, we came down to, my wife and I came down to the town hall. And had the usual objections, noise, cars, trucks, that sort of thing. And all that kind of put to bed mostly at the basis of, yes, but the landscaping will be very nice and taking care of a lot of the issues, the business, okay, we have more progress in the community, sure, we got that. But we were sold on the fact that the landscaping would be in place. And what we ended up with is 2 stories of a great block, lots of glass, surrounded by a sea of blacktop, and a lot of sheet metal work sitting on top of all that. The building is larger than anything in this area, and it doesn't blend with anything. It's gray and white. If you look to the north, there's a excavation company, and they have a very small 1-story building like a ranch house, and barely 2 streets. It's all green and if you look to the south, you'll see a little wonderful contracting building. He put a couple of garages on last year, but basically it's or a few years ago. Basically, it's a small one-floor building surrounded by some gravel, not a big deal, and the front is right behind all that. So it's not a bad deal. But if you look at the building itself, there's 56,000, very much great black stuff on industrial and commercial buildings. The parking area right now is on blacktop, and somebody approached that. It almost appears like there was no attempt going to be made, but I understand that it's more cost effective to do it 3 times later. What we're trying to get, my wife and I, is that we have to look at this thing every day. We understand current risk, we understand the better tax base, we're all for that. But if we could please stay with the 10% plan on the landscaping, we would certainly appreciate that. The trees, they don't have to be on islands. You could put 4 trees up front. No one cares other than we need to put the lipstick on this thing and make it look more presentable on Ravenna Road. It would fit wonderfully on Cryle Road. But on Ravenna Road, a lot more green and brown and natural tendencies than there in this building portrays at this point. So if we could very consciously ask the board to consider leaving the 10%, again, it doesn't have to be on the island. I did that in a manufacturing company for 40 years. You don't need those islands in there, that's going to be a problem. But put 4 trees up front, rearrange where the trees are, but keep the landscaping, keep the 10% or very, very close to it. Keep the green or trying to get more green into this project if we could. We would certainly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Mr. Rizet?
Grisey, G-R-I-S-E-Z.
G-R-I. I'm sorry, can you spell that again?
G-R-I-S-E-Z.
G as in George, R-I-S-S-E-Z.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Grisey. And if we could confirm your address, are you the east or west side of this building?
We are on the west side here, directly across the building.
Across Ravenna Road.
Right.
Across Ravenna Road.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your input.
Mr. Grisey?
Yes.
You do realize that across the street from you is a general business district, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so what is your primary concern really? Is it the noise? Is it the way it looks? What is your issue, your primary issue?
The primary issue is that it's a very large, I didn't expect a very large gray building with a lot of blacktop. The biggest issue, and we know that, okay? The biggest issue is the blacktop and the gray building, and there's nothing that it blends with. It's not green, it's not anything representative of Allison area or Center Road. So our position is we would like to see as much green cover the building or to do some of the blacktop and break it up, make it a more natural, acceptable view.
Mr. DeMichael, if I
Yes.
can ask you a question. Mr. Grisey is making a point. It seems as though he's not too concerned about the islands, but he is concerned about the green. You're not proposing that in fact any of this or this is going to be eliminated, are you?
No, that will, yeah,
And you
the
see-
landscaping isn't in yet.
What I'm showing to you is where it abuts Ravenna Road in the front of your property. That landscaping will still be put in place.
Correct, there's trees and shrubbery on the hill right that butts up against Ravenna Road, and there would be more shrubbery and flowers along, right in front of the windows, below the windows, and along the side to hide all the AC units and things. And then along the parking lot where the islands would have been is more trees and more shrubs all the way down the side, so you won't be able to really, it's not there right now because it's not done yet.
I'm just going to help try to tie this together a little bit here. You're suggesting eliminating the islands.
Correct.
You're not going to eliminate any of the green space Mr. Grisey is concerned about. Mr. Grisey has indicated he's okay and understands and appreciates the elimination of the islands presents a hardship to you.
Correct.
He wants to make sure that green space still stays up front.
Yes.
You're going to
everything
do that. We understand you're in the process of building this building, completing the landscaping, and everything else needs to be done, correct?
will. Correct.
Okay. And your building is, Ms. Gerald, excuse me, sir. Ms. Gerald's appropriately indicated that it is a business district. You're able to construct the building that you choose, be it the features, exterior features, colors, and other things, right? You've done that. There's no violation for any other zoning restrict, or anything Mr. DeMichael has violated with zoning as far as the building, right?
There are no violations.
I don't mean to ask you in that manner. I'm sorry, that was as if I was almost being admonishing to you. I didn't mean that. But okay. Thank you, Ms. Freeman. Thank you, Mr. DeMichael.
Thank you.
Mr. DeMichael, I drove in there this morning, but I don't remember seeing this. Is that there? This section?
It's just dirt right now.
It's just dirt?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I didn't notice. And right in front of the building. So
Oh, right.
you're putting bushes in there or something?
Correct.
Okay.
And your, the proposal is to plant trees in the front, larger section, and then also to the right of the driveway.
Correct.
And
Yes,
those will
and
grow
then all down the side.
and all
of
down the
parking
side.
area. Correct.
And those grow in, that'll serve to,
Yeah. They'll serve as
that's
shade,
a
you know,
nice
to block.
frame.
Yeah, to block. Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly the ones in the front of the property will hide the building more than it's totally exposed right now.
yeah, I would think to echo Mr. Grisey's concern, you are planting like trees?
Correct.
Okay, I think that'll go a long way to
What kind of trees are you
softening.
putting in front? This writing is way too small for me to figure out. You have all these wonderful pictures of trees. So what are you putting out front? Are you putting evergreens or pear trees or? I stumped him.
He said Black Hill spruce. How's that?
So like evergreens.
Evergreens.
Yeah, spruce.
I can't.
Well, that'll block a lot of it.
Yeah,
Is it
and those
a
things
piece
will
of-
grow.
They're 8 feet tall.
They will grow fast.
Yeah.
Everything is minimum of 6 feet tall that is being planted.
Yeah.
As far as for the trees wise.
And there will be the one, say this on this, there is gonna be one, island cutting out,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah, towards the front.
yeah.
Which will
over.
hide, you know, if there are cars parked
Right.
there.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Are you putting a tree in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, again, thank you, Mr. Grisey. Is there anyone else on the phone who wishes to participate? Doesn't sound like there is, so we will assume that that is a total participation from the phone this evening. Any further questions from the board?
I would move the approval of variance
Well,
2020-65, Mr. Chairman.
Hold on one second. Mr. DeMichael, did you have anything further you?
Well, if he's, Mr. Bizet is still on the phone, I think the buffer, like, the house, I believe is the one he's talking about, is the illuminating company cleared out a bunch of buffer weeds, tall trees and stuff like that when they put in a telephone pole across the street across Ravenna Road across from our building, and that probably, then he could really see everything. You know, he could see our building, if that makes sense. You could see his backyard and everything. I apologize for that. It really wasn't my doing on that end, to clear anything up. I think that's what, he could really see the property now from his backyard, where it had tall grass bush, or just overgrown things that are growing back in now slowly, but the illuminating company did cut that down with a telephone pole. I did notice that at one time.
Okay, thank you.
I'll leave it to
Nothing,
you then.
there's nothing further. We'll go ahead and close the public portion of the hearing, correct? You seem to be taking the lead.
Just trying to help.
You're so bossy tonight.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
You want to restate it?
let me restate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Rowe. Mr. Chairman, I would move for the approval of variance number 2020-65.
Second?
And moving for the approval of the first part of that particular variance, Mr. Chairman, consideration, I believe, of the variance from 10% to allow 1.5% of the interior parking lot landscaping in lieu of the minimum 10% required.
Second?
Second.
All right, so moved. I'm always confused when we address these multi-part variances in a single.
Just do two rolls.
Right, so we do one at a time, correct? Okay, and that was your motion for the first one. All right, so, well taken. And discussion?
No discussion?
No discussion? If you,
I have a couple
Brandon?
points of discussion, Mr. Chairman. I think it's important, since we had a caller on the telephone who expressed some concerns, which I think are certainly appreciated. But I do want to reiterate, I think what Mr. DeMichael's done and his crew is noteworthy. I think they've brought a nice business to the area, which is his own general business. It's expected that these type of things will go in there. I think he's certainly suffering a hardship. I think that hardship was something that was unforeseen by him. As he's indicated, it was something that he certainly could not have appreciated, but for the fire department. It certainly makes sense that in light of the particular business that he operates, that it only is appropriate to have those restrictions lessened upon him so that he can operate effectively. We certainly don't want cars there getting injured, or people getting injured, or all those other hardships that might apply, whether it be snow plowing or otherwise, in lieu of that islands remaining there. I also think it's noteworthy that Mr. Bizet indicated that he doesn't have any objection to those islands. He's the only one who was speaking perhaps against the appeal, if it was in fact against the appeal. So as far as the islands go, I think it makes good sense for this board to approve his request, and approve the variance, and allow him to move forward.
okay, thank you. Mr. Dines? Any further discussion?
No, I'm just helping build the record, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate it.
Well said, Mr. Dines.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, then we will, Heather, if we could take the roll on the following, the request for the variance from section 3805B to allow 1.57% interior parking lot landscaping in lieu of the minimum 10% required.
Mr. Rowe?
Yes.
Ms. Gerald?
Yes.
Mr. Dines?
Yes.
Mr. Hamilton?
Yes.
And Mr. Sweeney?
Yes. It's unanimous vote. That variance has been granted. And we will now move on to the second variance. And this is for the variance from section 3804A to eliminate a minimum 5-foot planting area on the south side of the building between the building wall and the parking area. Is there any discussion regarding this variance?
Would just like to reiterate,
Do I have a motion?
oh,
So moved.
second,
Discussion?
are we allowed?
Yeah, now you are.
I just want to reiterate the fact that, that the building had to be moved 4 feet to the south, and that makes quite a bit of difference. So I support approving that variance.
I concur with Ms. Gerald.
Thank you, Ms. Gerald. Any further discussion?
No.
If not, we'll go ahead and, Heather, if you would take the vote, please.
Mr. Hamilton?
Yes.
Ms. Gerald?
Yes.
Mr. Dines?
Yes.
Mr. Rowe?
No.
And Mr. Sweeney?
Yes. And that variance has also been approved. Congratulations, and we appreciate your input tonight. And
Good luck in your business.
it's a very nice project.
Very nice.
All right, I don't believe we have any other matters on the docket this evening, so we will move now to the approval of the minutes from the July 8th meeting.
And I would just like to apologize on the record for missing that meeting unexpectedly. Forgive me.
It happens. Anybody,
I would move to approve the minutes as provided, Mr. Chairman.
those in favor, say aye.
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 Abstain.
Those- One abstention.
I'm abstaining as well.
Okay. I see it was a unanimous aye vote, so the minutes have been approved. Heather, the next board meeting is September 9th, is that correct? Okay. And if there's nothing else, this evening's meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.